Our first stop is in Tamriel in the northern province of Skyrim. The Bannered Mare sits in the market circle of Whiterun.
Whiterun is a trading city in the center of Skyrim's tundra.
They call this the trading capital of Skyrim.
But there's like 30 people here.
Its walls and regular guard patrols keep it feeling secure, though the constant activity means it's never fully quiet.
All day?
The Bannered Mare is the only inn in Whiterun. It has a classic Nordic timber and stone structure with a thatched roof.
And this beautiful wooden sign of a prancing horse. I am excited. Let's head inside.
Upon entering, I was immediately hit with the warm air carrying the scent of wood smoke.
As in any Nord mead hall, the central hearth is the heart of the space, a place for warmth, storytelling, and community.
A mounted elk head watches over the room, while the glow of lanterns and candles soften the edges of the space, giving it a warm and inviting feeling.
Hunting trophies like the elk head reflect the Nord's reverence for the hunt, a familiar sight in taverns across Skyrim.
I checked in with Hulda, the innkeeper. The process was efficient. She seemed to size me up in about 3 seconds, told me the room was mine for the day, and led me upstairs.
Okay, so this room is beautiful. The bed is firm, which I actually like, and the blankets have this really nice smoky smell to them from the fire downstairs.
There's these nice candles on this beautiful handcrafted wooden bedside table. There's also a complimentary cheese wheel here, and I think this is a wash basin?
There's also this secondary table with a secondary cheese wheel. Does cheese mold? I think blue cheese lasts a long time. And I don't know where I'm supposed to pee in this inn, but I'll figure something out.
There's also this nice balcony overlooking the inn's main room, where they've left me a boiled cream treat. And within seconds, a server passed by and offered me a drink.
You want a drink?
So far, the service in this place is impeccable.
So my goal is to collect one souvenir from each place I stay that encapsulates my experience.
And luckily they had Argonian blood wine on offer. Argonian blood wine is a rare find this far from Blackmarsh, a real treat for a collector. I bought a bottle and put it into my bag, and a bottle of Blackbriar mead to have with my cream treat.
Honestly, 10 septims for the night with complimentary dessert and cheese? Pretty good deal. Alright, check-in's done, I've dropped off my bags and I've had a snack. It's time to explore the city of Whiterun.
Outside, I walked the market circle and checked out the merchants of Whiterun. Butchers selling cuts of meat, and jewelers displaying rings and amulets of varying enchantments. At Arcadia's Cauldron, I browsed potions I couldn't afford, and then I stopped at Bellathor's General Goods to take a look around. And then I see it, a folded map of Whiterun's best fishing spots. I buy it, and instantly my whole day changes.
I'm going fishing.
With the map in hand, I headed outside of the city's walls. By 1 p.m., I was following the map to a nearby fishing spot.
Okay, I'm here, and there is a fishing rod and bait and booze that someone just left behind. So I'm gonna borrow them.
It is a beautiful day for fishing. I pull in 2 fish, including a river betty.
River betties are prized by alchemists for their toxic venom.
But I wasn't about to carry a poisonous fish in my pack, so I let it go. On the walk back to Whiterun, I stopped at Hunting Brew Meadery for a quick tour, and left with a fresh bottle of mead and a snack.
Hunting Brew was once a rival to the Blackbriar Meadery, though it's rumored a sabotage scandal forced a change in ownership. Regardless, their mead is excellent, light with a hint of honey.
It was close to 7 p.m. and the walk back to Whiterun took about half an hour. Somewhere on the road, someone mistook me for a dragonborn?
No idea.
With the evening ahead, I wanted to see what the local taverns offered beyond the Bannered Mare. I visited the Drunken Huntsman for another drink.
So apparently the name came from the owner and his brother having a little bit too much mead one evening and then going hunting. And then one brother mistaking the other brother for a deer and shooting him in the ass with an arrow, hence the name Drunken Huntsman.
I walked in and it became immediately clear that they don't like people foreign to Whiterun in their bar. I headed back to the Bannered Mare. I ordered cooked brook bass, grilled leeks, likely sourced from nearby farms, and an Idar cheese wedge, paired with Alto wine. Dessert was a honey nut treat and a sweet roll. Mikhail the Bard performed in the common room. I was pretty tipsy at this point, but I wasn't as tipsy as this guy. I ended up going to bed a little early because Sinmir here wouldn't stop blabbing about politics.
Good vibes all around this inn though, I've gotta say.
And when I returned to my room, a man named Ulfred was sleeping in my bed. I hadn't requested a private room, so I accepted the situation and slept beside him.
Honestly, I already don't see anywhere topping this place. The vibes are good, the food is good. I have to say this has been a very successful first night, and I assume this music is going to stop soon. Good night. Okay, it is 4 a.m. and this dude is still playing downstairs. Oh, what the fuck? Does this guy not take a break? Does he not need to eat? He seems like a nice guy, so I don't want to be rude, but if I have to hear Ragnar the Red one more goddamn time.
Oh, there once was a hero.
Regardless, Ulfred and I awake in the morning feeling rested. Breakfast is simple, an apple, bread, and another sweet roll. Ulfred also said this to me.
Ulfred, a name I'm sure you know well.
So I'm going to be drinking a little less for the remainder of this trip.
Before leaving the inn, I decided to get my small revenge on Mikhail for keeping me up all night by trying to steal his loot, but was surprised to see that none of his instruments were actually in his pocket. So instead, I took his ring. We had a little tussle, we both apologized to one another, and then that was that.
It's time to say goodbye to Whiterun and to the Bannered Mare and head off for my next stop.
The convenience of the location was undeniable, but so was the constant noise. If your goal is rest, you might want to find somewhere else. If your goal is to be in the middle of everything, you've got that with the Bannered Mare. 4 out of 5 stars. Next, we're going up. way up. Our destination is Paradiso Resort, the jewel of the Parima system.
Okay, I am already impressed. The hotel is right here, and my favorite restaurant in the settled system is just across the road. Chunks. And would you look at that? It is the upscale Chunks.
There's also a pristine stretch of beach just beyond the plaza, perfect for doing absolutely nothing after check-in. Inside the lobby, Paradiso leans hard into its reputation. There's a tranquility and a full-service coffee bar right in the hotel.
This is fancy.
Check-in was smooth. I even received a one-time 20% first visit discount, though I'm pretty sure they make that offer to everyone. I grabbed my key card and I headed for the elevator.
I've opted for the deluxe penthouse suite because why not?
And up we go.
Hello? Is this the deluxe penthouse suite? What the fuck? Okay, you know what? We'll give this a minute and we'll come back.
While giving Starfield some time to load, I next rolled into Novac, a dusty highway outpost named after its weather-beaten no vacancy sign.
Right next to this giant concrete T-Rex.
This dino, known locally as Dinky, looms over the parking lot.
Charming by day, but I bet you're a scary fella at night. And he's got the world's second largest thermometer.
It doubles as both a roadside novelty and the town's watchtower, with a sniper nest hidden inside Dinky's mouth.
I see you up there.
Stepping out of the heat and into the motel courtyard, I noticed the building's mid-century design. A thick layer of roadside grit coated the windows, giving everything a permanent sepia tone.
This motel looks like it survived 2 nuclear apocalypses.
Pushing open the lobby door, I was greeted by a weak ceiling fan wobbling overhead, and the chemical bite of decades-old cleaning solvent. Jeannie Mae Crawford, the motel's proprietor, stood behind the counter. In a lobby that could kindly be described as decrepit, Jeannie's warmth went a long way. She's an absolute sweetheart.
Jeannie's trying to keep this place clean, but the passage of time is definitely winning here. And based on this table, I do not have high hopes for the breakfast buffet.
She gave me a quick rundown of the local attractions, Dinky the Dino and a rocket site. I thanked her and promised to check those out. Key in hand, I stepped back outside to find my room, already bracing for what I might find inside this 2-century-old motel.
Firstly, it smells like skeletons in here.
Dark stains spread across the worn carpet.
Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, a lot of bloodstains. So we have wood slats over the windows, and we have the window curtains on the walls. Interesting choice. Bed positives, it's a queen and there is a teddy bear. Bed negatives, we had a sweaty sleeper.
A suitcase lay abandoned in the corner, and on the TV stand there was complimentary dog meat, iguana bits, dirty water, and sugar bombs. The fridge miraculously still worked, and I found a welcome package of sorts. I helped myself to a shot of whiskey and felt a little bit better about the room.
Let's check out the bathroom.
In the bathroom, things were actually looking up. The sink had running water and the toilet flushed.
Honestly, I'll say it, I don't hate this place. It has a vibe. Also, besides a few pipe creaks, it's pretty quiet, which is a nice change.
With my bags dropped off and a couple beverages in my system, I stepped outside to get some fresh air and met a few of the locals who call the Dino Dee-lite Motel home. I met a woman who was a fighter pilot. I realized I was chatting with a former Enclave vertibird pilot. She might even be the most badass person in town. Sorry, sniper guy in the Dinky Dino.
Speaking of the Dinky Dino, let's grab a souvenir.
Entering through the door in the side of the dinosaur, I found myself in a cramped shop by the name of the Dino Bite gift shop. The shop owner, Cliff, was certainly eager. He told me that they had Dinky T-Rex doll souvenirs and Repcon rocket models, one-of-a-kind collector's items.
Cliff has nearly 1,000 dinosaur souvenirs in stock by my estimate, and judging by the dust on them, they're not exactly flying off the shelves.
I later learned Repcon dumped hundreds of these toys on the gift shop after a pre-war safety scandal, and they've been sitting here for over 200 years.
I feel a bit bad for Cliff, so I'm buying a few things. And if a Dinky the T-Rex souvenir isn't the perfect keepsake of this place, I don't know what is.
Honestly, it was worth the caps I spent just to make his day. After making my purchase, I followed a set of stairs in the back of the shop that led upwards inside the dinosaur. The climb brought me to a metal door which opened out onto Dinky's mouth, now repurposed as a sniper's perch. The view was spectacular. I also met the guy manning the sniper post. He confided that he was looking for someone responsible for his wife's disappearance. He suspected the culprit was in town and asked if I'd help lure them into the open.
I'm not doing chores for this guy, I'm on vacation. Sorry.
With the morning's local explorations done, I took Jeannie's advice and set out north up the highway toward the Repcon rocket test site. An old rocket factory turned museum that once built propellant tanks and ran test launches. Now it's mostly a crumbling brick facade.
This is not what I was picturing.
The main door was ajar, so I slipped inside. Suddenly, a crackling intercom speaker burst to life.
Who I am doesn't matter, smooth skin.
The disembodied voice told me I didn't belong here. I'd come all this way to see some rockets though, so I ignored it. I encountered a pair of ferals in a stairwell. They lunged and I blew them away. I finally came face to face with the voice on the intercom. His name was Chris. Chris kept calling me smooth skin, even to my face, which, given his smooth complexion, was ironic. At this point, I realized that I'd stumbled into a whole ghoul cult situation. And like I said, I only came here to see some rockets. I helped Chris back to the door he'd come from. Then some other ghoul named Jason came and talked to me. He started preaching at me almost immediately, something about repenting and bless the rockets that would carry his flock. I let Jason ramble for a minute about the great journey, and then I sent him to be with his flock. Let's just say I did my part to clear out the ghoul problem that had been plaguing Novac's trade route. And then I finally got to see what I came for. Rockets. Okay, this was worth it. The sun was setting as I trekked back down the highway. I was dusty, tired, and a bit hungry. Back in Novac, I grabbed a sunset sarsaparilla from the motel vending machine and ate a bowl of Blamco mac and cheese while I watched the stars come out. In the fading light, the silhouette of Dinky's dinosaur against the purple sky was oddly beautiful. This is the Mojave at its best. Quiet, haunting, and full of a strange charm. Manny Vargas also let me use his computer to send a few emails, and I noticed how unprotected the whole terminal network was in the wasteland. Manny suggested I pitch a private network service provider called NordVPN to Jeannie that they could use at the motel. I thought that was a great idea. Jeannie, I said, to truly stay safe out here, you've got to protect more than your hide. You need to protect your data. Raiders, Caesar's Legion, even Mr. House up in New Vegas. Plenty of folks would love to snoop on the little information that you've got. That's why you need NordVPN, the best virtual private network of the pre-war era. With NordVPN, your IP address, that's like your home address on the network, gets masked. You could be browsing from New Vegas, Shady Sands, or even Canada for all they know. Jeannie blinked, still trying to grasp the concept, so I pressed on. Do you have Netflix here? Because if you do, you can watch Canadian Netflix or American Netflix, any Netflix with NordVPN. And NordVPN also keeps your connection secure on any public terminal. Do you really trust Manny Vargas's computer? Who knows who could be lurking on the line? NordVPN shields you. Next-gen encryption so strong, not even a Brotherhood of Steel scribe could crack it. It's as essential as a good lock on your door. Not that there's locks on any of these doors. And right now, when you use my link, you'll get a huge discount on a 2-year plan, plus 4 bonus months. You have a 30-day money-back guarantee. This is the ad bit you're doing? You had NordVPN right there. Get it at nordvpn.com/Bandercoot, or click the link in the description below. I decided to let Jeannie sleep and absorb all of the new information I'd given her. In that moment, looking around her modest home, threadbare rugs, a single lamp, and almost nothing in the way of luxury, I realized just how little this kind soul had. Jeannie pours her heart into keeping Novac alive, greeting every stranger with a smile, and yet she lives so humbly. Standing on her porch under the pale moonlight, I felt a tug at my heartstrings. This town, and Jeannie especially, had shown me kindness. I know now what I need to do to give back to this community, and it isn't just NordVPN. Earlier that day, I'd noticed those dinosaur figurines on Jeannie's reception desk. Clearly, she has a fondness for Dinky. And Cliff's gift shop had a massive overstock of the things collecting dust. A little idea sparked into my mind and quickly grew into a plan. Without waking Jeannie, I snuck over to the Dino-Bite gift shop. Cliff had long since closed for the night, but with my spare key and his trust for my earlier purchase, I let myself in. Under the unblinking grin of the giant T-Rex above, I went shopping. I cleared out his entire storeroom of plastic dinosaurs, on the order of hundreds of them. The little green replicas filled my arms, their cute painted eyes staring up at me in the moonlit silence. Back and forth between the gift shop and her house, I worked all night. All in all, I'd say it was a successful day. Dino Dee-lite may not have the polished comforts of a New Vegas strip hotel, but it delivers a uniquely Mojave experience. A bit rough, a bit weird, but essentially honest about what it is. Good night. Besides a few 5 a.m. pipe creaks and the distant howl of a coyote, the night here was quiet, a relief after my night with Ulfrid. I even managed to get a decent sleep. The next morning I made sure to be up early, packing my duffel and getting ready to hit the road, but I couldn't leave without witnessing the surprise. For a few seconds she was speechless, and then...
Hey there.
I know how much Jeannie loves this town, and she doesn't have much, so why not flood her with a little Novac spirit? Now she's got the whole Dino Dee-lite gang at her bedside. Forever. Word spread quickly through Novac that morning. Cliff was baffled and frankly relieved to find his surplus of souvenirs mysteriously gone. My time in Novac had come to an end. As I walked to the edge of town, the morning sun was just cresting over the hills, casting the T-Rex's long shadow over the motel. In a world full of big dangers and bigger uncertainties, Novac's little motel manages to offer something rare. Heart. The rooms are rough and the decor might be nightmare-inducing to an interior designer, but the people of Novac make you feel welcome. Between the quirky attractions, the colorful characters, and the undeniable charm of Dinky's big grin greeting you each morning, I'd say my stay was unforgettably delightful, in that special New Vegas way. Also, I now have radiation poisoning. 3.5 stars. Thank you once again to NordVPN for sponsoring today's video. Straight up, if you don't have NordVPN, you should definitely have it if you're using a computer in the year 2025. Use my links down below for a discount on a 2-year plan.